Lay. Sir. Yeah. Yeah.
Kane is in the building.
Yeah. Already the show goes on all night.
In the Samsung Mobile 500 at Texas Motor Speedway. He is 9/10 of a second ahead of Greg Biffle. There is the gap as Biffle builds speed down the back straightaway. Mark Martin, no change. He's still 8.5 back. Matt Kenseth, 12 seconds out of the lead, and Jeff Gordon, 13. They're the top 5 with pole sitter Martin Truex, 6th. Marcus Ambrose, Casey Kane, Kevin Harvick, and Dale Jr. in the top 10.
Yeah, only 14 cars on the lead lap right now. So that just tells you the pace that Jimmy Johnson's been setting. He's been lapping a car just almost every lap, seemed like.
Steve, how about the Biff?
Well, as for Chief Matt Hughes just gave him some good news. He said the tires that came off your car look great, and you are one lap to the good on fuel. Biffle responded by saying, hey, I'm going to let him do the 48 that is. I'm going to let him do whatever he wants. I'm saving my equipment.
Well, Greg Biffle ran 50 laps that green flag run up to that last pit stop, and this run will need to be 51 laps for him. But that seems to be well within the fuel window of what most of the drivers' crew chiefs told me they could run this morning.
Mark Martin sits in 3rd, Matt. He's 8 seconds back. Does he have enough gas?
Mike, he is one lap to the good, but the team had a little bit of confusion, much like their teammate Martin Truex Jr. as far as how long to stay and when he'd be released from the pit box. They also told him the reason why they couldn't see the debris on the grill, it was clear plastic. The temperature's good and fuel's good.
Okay. Thanks, Matt. Here is Jeff Gordon coming to 4th on Matt Kenseth, who was by a pretty wide margin the favorite for this race coming in. Started outside pole, strong record here. But Gordon perhaps trying to avenge the defeat 2 weeks ago when the last restart left him and Jimmy Johnson sitting on the front row on old tires. Brian Newman, the eventual race winner.
Quite a drive for Jeff Gordon tonight.
From 34th up to 4th. Matt?
Mike is never able to get the handling of valves what Matt Kenseth would like on that 17. He says the car is sideways, wrecking loose, and just wobbling loose on entry. It's a handful. These drivers may not get another opportunity to come to pit road. You pretty much got what you got possibly right now at the end of this 500-mile race.
Going to run the last 230 laps of this race under green? We'll be right back and find out. Agents, I'd like you to meet Casey Kane.
Hey, nice fire suits.
Custom tailored.
Just like the personalized coverage you can get by working with a farmer's agent. Oh, no. Ah, fire suit. Oh, hey, Kate. Are you done? We are insurance.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
Whoa! Dad, where'd you get that?
Oh, you won't believe what just happened.
Don't tell me you got the last I do.
Yeah.
I love the taste of I do. What do you want for it?
Deal. Diet Mountain Dew. Yeah, it tastes that good.
Hey, hotshot! Meter's running.
When you have cable and can't find something good to watch, you get depressed. When you get depressed, you attend seminars. When you attend seminars, you feel like a winner. When you feel like a winner, you go to Vegas. When you go to Vegas, you lose everything. And when you lose everything, you sell your hair to a wig shop. Don't sell your hair to a wig shop. Get rid of cable and upgrade to DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
As a champion race car driver, I spent a lot of time behind the wheel. I'm Jimmy Johnson, and I like to move fast. That's why I got a Husqvarna Fast Tractor at Lowe's. It's the fastest riding mower in its class. And like all Husqvarna equipment, the fast tractor is built to be more powerful, durable, and efficient. So I can get off my lawn sooner and move on with my day. You cannot rush good barbecue at my own speed. Look for the fast tractor and other Husqvarna products available exclusively at Lowe's.
Here comes Biffle. Greg Biffle is back in the lead, and he convincingly crosses the bow of Jimmy Johnson's number 48. Now that was one of those I'll get even with yous, as Jimmy put the move on Greg earlier.
Well, we heard Greg say, I'm going to let him do whatever he's going to do. I'm saving my equipment. Now, I got to say, he didn't save a whole lot right there on that pass.
But he had been chipping away at Jimmy Johnson about 1 to 2 tenths a lap for about the last 4 or 5 laps until he got up there and then just drove by.
This is just a Greg Biffle kind of a racetrack. It's a track where you just got to be tenacious, and he is. Got to be aggressive. We just saw that he is. And you got to be fast, and they got a fast car.
Very hard at work, deep in concentration.
Hearing you talk about Greg Biffle here, I think a move like that is the reason that he's working on 8 consecutive top 10 finishes here.
Well, that was an in-your-pass pass of Jimmy Johnson, and it's our 5-hour energy big move of the race. It's not just that he passes Jimmy Johnson, it's that he does it with such authority and jumps right up in front of him to say, take that.
They had company there on the last car right to the outside.
I don't think he's going to drive away and leave Jimmy Johnson either. I think Jimmy is probably going to stalk him pretty good.
Well, not everybody is so happy with their race car. Now, a lot of the team PR people are on Twitter tweeting what's happening with the different cars during the race, and I quote, Stewart pits on lap 284 for 4 tires, fuel, and an exorcism for his race car.
And remember, that's a backup car for Tony because he had a practice crash yesterday, second race car of the weekend.
Yeah, he's done exercise. One of them into the wall this week.
Jimmy Johnson hanging tough here. Half a second back of Greg Biffle. With Mark Martin 8 seconds back, Jeff Gordon is closing in, but he still has 10 seconds to make up on the leaders. He's 4th. Kenseth, Truex, and Ambrose.
Yeah, I think if you're riding along there, you're thinking you're going to get a late caution, you might want to rethink that strategy.
It may not happen. You know, we normally anticipate that it will, but you just never know now with them down to 25 laps to go.
It'd be like a gunfight at OK Corral if we do have one, I can tell you that.
After the last 4 laps, the gap has stayed all but constant, right at half a second.
That red and white car right in front of Greg Biffle, that's Kurt Busch, the 51. We've talked about him a couple of times. Lightning clawing, trying to stay on the lead lap.
Guys, you see how wobbly Biffle and Jimmy Johnson are? I mean, this is 195, 200 miles an hour, and they're driving like they're on dirt. They're asking those cars for all they got. They know this is pivotal in this race. Jimmy Johnson does not want to let Greg Biffle get too far away. He wants to keep a little bit of pressure on him and try to rally late.
Yeah, Michael, it just seems like right now Biffle is beating Jimmy Johnson about a tenth a lap.
Maybe Jimmy Johnson will change that line around. He was pretty dedicated to the bottom. Moved it up a little bit down to turn 1 and 2. Be interesting to see if he gets all the way up to the wall.
Well, this last lap, the only cars on the racetrack that were faster than Greg Biffle were Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon.
That'd be too little too late for them, though, because they're so far back. They're going to have a caution to get back in the hunt.
Yeah, 8 and 9 seconds back with 23 to go. Mark Martin trying to erase Harry Gant's record. Harry Gant was 52 years old when he won his final Cup race, Michigan, August 92. Wow, that means Harry Gant 71? He looks 51. That's in great shape. Steve.
Yeah, Mike, update on Jeff Gordon, you guys have talked so much about his battle from a 34th starting position. Now what, he's okay on gas, that's not the issue, but he just said the car is starting to get loose on me right now.
Yeah, he's a lot like Mark Martin. He's 9.5 seconds behind Greg Biffle. Certainly another driver that would really need the aid of a caution to get back up there, I think, and battle for the win.
And Larry, the 21 car of Trevor Bain just got in the wall again in 3 and 4. Little smoke coming off the car. I don't know if there's any debris from the car or not, but he did get in the wall in 3 and 4 again.
We're riding with Kevin Harvick as he takes the low side around Trevor Bain at start-finish. And the Brothers Ford has taken quite a licking tonight, but still rolling.
These cars just amaze me. Every time they hit the wall, slide up and rub against the wall, it seems like it makes them faster.
Dale Jr. 10th, 26 seconds off the lead. Now Kyle Busch is now the last car in the lead lap, and not for long. As Greg Biffle is, he's opened it up to 9/10 of a second on Jimmy Johnson, and there's Kyle, not all that far in front of the race leader, who's working against Casey Mears. We have been 213 laps since we last saw the yellow flag, and no, I'm not hoping for one, but it certainly has given this race a very different complexion than what we're used to.
Well, it's a race record. I think the record was 152 miles an hour set by Tony Stewart last year. We're averaging right now 160 miles an hour around this racetrack.
It's pretty amazing. This race started with 43 drivers out there slipping and sliding around. As Michael Waltrip, over 190, almost 200 miles per hour.
And that 160 average includes 2 caution flags plus all of those green flag stops.
Well, I can just tell you as a driver, I don't care where you're running, and maybe Jimmy Johnson wouldn't feel this way. You just like to see this thing get over with now. You've been out here working hard for the last 3.5 hours. 3 hours, actually.
And Jimmy falls 1 second behind, and although all of Rick Hendrick's cars are in the top 10, right now they've got work to do if they're going to catch Greg Biffle.
I think if we have a caution, Larry, it's going to be one of these cars that are up next to the wall. They're going to get in there a little too hard, trying to make up a little bit of time, maybe racing somebody, and maybe we get a caution from that. Otherwise, I don't see any problem.
Well, one thing we know, even if we're deep into this race, with only a handful of laps to go, caution comes out, you're going to have to get 4 tires if you even want to have a chance at winning this race.
Even if it's a green-white checker?
Well, I agree, but let me just tell you something. In last night's race, Austin Dillon stayed out on those tires, led the race for a little while, and still got a top 5 finish with about 20 laps to go.
And Richard Childress told me this morning, he said Austin, who is Richard's grandson, he said he was hoping that some other cars would stay out, and of course they did not. 12th place, Denny Hamlin, and his Joe Gibbs Racing teammate Kyle Busch.
Yeah, I think that the difference maker would be how many laps that these drivers have on their tires already. Most of them make those green flag pit stops back to lap 2-8. And it looks like Jimmy
Johnson just got in the wall down here in 3 and 4. The whole right side of the car. I don't think he hit it hard, but he got up against it.
He's staying on at speed. There it is.
That's a pretty hard lick. Looks like that Trevor Bain.
Yeah, I think so.
But as you said, Darrell, the strength of these cars and their ability to take a shot, Johnson.
That's to the wall. Right side of the wall into 3. Right.
Johnson is still at speed.
Yeah, but he's now losing about a half a second a lap to Greg Biffle. 32.30 to Greg Biffle's 31.70.
And the guy that they need to be talking to, Biffle, can slow down just a little bit. Don't let the same thing happen to you. That's what I was worried about late in this run. Trying a little too hard and getting up into that wall.
Greg Biffle has a 3-second lead on Jimmy Johnson, who has 5 seconds on Mark Martin as we look at 10th place, and Carl Edwards has moved to 10th, Dale Jr. back to 11th.
Carl Edwards in that 99, the last caution we had over 200 laps ago, had to come back to pit road, so pretty much in that restart, 30th to the top 10. All under green.
Jr. coming back up toward the bumper of Edwards, but Carl's a little bit quicker. And right now, the fastest car on the racetrack, Mark Martin in 3rd, but 8 seconds behind.
And Mike, you said at the top of the show that you had a feeling maybe a Roush Fenway night with Carl Edwards moving in the top 10. All three of those drivers are in the top 10, obviously including Greg Biffle, your leader in the riding list.
Yeah, you got 3 Roush, you got 3 Henrik cars, all in the top 10. And what's Michael got there? He's got 2 in the top 10.
And the fourth Ford in the top 10 is Marcus Ambrose, Richard Petty. Motorsports car.
A really good night, solid night for Marcus Ambrose.
So there is the gap, which was a second and now is 3.2.
Yeah, Johnson's just going to try to hang on here. He did a lot of damage to that car. A lot of right rear damage. And that really affects these cars. Dick?
Johnson has told his crew that the car has gone tight. It really needs clean air in order for it to run well. Chad has told him just bring it home, and you can hear the tension and the disappointment in the voices.
He's got to nurse that thing for 10 more laps at 190 miles an hour.
But we're getting the word from Steve Burns, just like Darrell pointed out here with 10 laps to go, that Greg Biffle's crew, they have told him what's going on behind him, and you can see on the score monitor, well, at least it did for a couple laps, but now he's picked the pace back up again.
He only backed off about a tenth of a second, and, you know, Darrell, that's got to be hard when you've been running your guts out for 324 laps, and they say, oh, you can pedal it now.
Well, Biffle's one of those guys you'd have to tell every lap. Because he would slow down the lap, you tell him, and then he would take it right back up. Every time he goes by, you got to tell him. But also, a lot of drivers don't believe in slowing down. You get out of your rhythm, you might get in trouble.
Well, we listened in on Greg Biffle and team as we close down to 9 laps to go.
Really good. Let's take all fuel we can here. Got a half a trailer around the 38.
Even more reason to back it down a little bit. Don't gamble, man. Just back it down. You got a big lead. Nobody's catching you. Save some fuel. Be safe. Let's see. What's his RPM and his follow trace? 50 backs off a little early here. Yes, sir. Backing off at about 8,500 and coasting.
And he's catching up on a big battle. Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin are fighting for position just in front of him.
And there, one thing I noticed when you look at that throttle track,
Need a little bit of gas. Got plenty of room for the 38. 70 for the flat.
when he rolls out, he let it roll for a while, completely out of the throttle.
It's a really comfortable way to drive. When you can roll out, let it roll down in there, coasting, and keep the throttle up nice and soft. And the spotter and the crew chief are saying you're holding your own and maybe even pulling away when you're doing it.
And when they say 70 to a flat, Greg Biffle's lap time 31.70, Jimmy Johnson's 32 seconds flat, 0.3 difference. At ninth place, Carl Edwards has the measure of Kevin Harvick. Edwards keep trying to come to the front and overcome that added pit stop. Check for loose one nuts earlier.
Yes, sir.
Caution.
A really nice recovery for Carl. He stayed focused and he really has done a nice job of getting himself back in the top 10.
Folks, to tell you how unprecedented this night has been with 5 laps to go, this is the first super speedway race with over 200 consecutive green flag laps in this century. 1999 at Homestead was the last one.
Well, let me tell you something. Averaging 160 miles an hour for 500 miles, that's amazing.
You know, when I look at Greg Biffle in this 16-car leading this race as we're coming to 4 laps to go, I think about he was running the Northwest Tour out on the West Coast, and the late Benny Parsons had watched him race. Benny came back and told Jack Roush, there's a guy out there on the Pacific Northwest you need to take a look at. I think he would be an awesome race car driver for you. And obviously, it's worked out well. Greg has won a couple of championships for Roush Fenway in the other 2 divisions of NASCAR.
Yeah, he desperately wants to win a championship in Cup. That gives him a championship in all 3 series. Unprecedented.
Nobody's done that. Biffle has 16 Sprint Cup wins. And in 3 of those, the driver he passed for the victory was Jimmy Johnson.
I'm pretty impressed that Jimmy Johnson can hang on here with with that car being in the shape it's in. Looks like he's going to manage to finish second.
Mark Martin's been able to gain no ground in trying to become NASCAR's oldest Sprint Cup race winner. Not that age is a factor as far as Martin's concerned. Jeff Gordon in fourth, Matt Kenseth in fifth.
The big thing that Greg Biffle wants to see is the white flag. He wants to see that white flag because when he sees the white flag, we know we've got a race then.
Yeah, everybody's got to hold their position one more time by, and you get the white flag next time.
Kyle Busch has won that battle with Denny Hamlin as they fought for 12th place, the last two cars on the lead lap. And now that they're single file, perhaps Biffle will work his way past them. He has 3.2 seconds in the bank on Jimmy Johnson.
No need to push. Just ride. White flag, one to go. It's a race.
Final lap. 49 races since Greg Biffle's last win. It came in Kansas in the fall of 2010.
I think Marcus Ambrose out of gas down the back.
Down low, not at speed, is Ambrose, but he's going to make it around. And here comes Biffle to become the sixth different winner of 2012. Greg Biffle wins the Samsung Mobile 500. Jimmy Johnson comes home second, 3.2 seconds back.
Awesome job. Thanks, man. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for all the hard work today, this weekend.
Mark Martin third, Jeff Gordon, Matt Kenseth, Martin Truex.
3 hours and 7 minutes, 160-mile-an-hour average. That's a pretty nice work.
501 miles.
Yes, sir. Biffle extends his point lead. He gets 47 points tonight. He led 90 laps, but Jimmy Johnson led the most. Most importantly, it's Biffle's fifth top 10 finish in this season's 7 races.
Nice burn. Look at this man go.
Come out the Sprint All-Star race. Greg Biffle will be in it now. He doesn't have to race his way into it.
He's going to burn down the house.
He is. Oh boy, he's having tires, I can tell you that.
American Speedway. A huge win for your points leader in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. There he is talking to the
The trophy here is in the shape of Texas cowboy boots. And the winner is a matched pair of 6-shooters by victory lane.
It'll be Matt Houston, his rookie's first Sprint Cup Series win.
It won't be his last.
A great night for the cat in the hat, car owner Jack Roush, and for his driver Greg Biffle.
Too much information. There's no such thing in NASCAR. With the NASCAR Sprint Cup mobile app, you get live in-car audio, real-time stats, and even driver bios. And with Sprint's unlimited data, you can find out everything about me. Like my secret obsession with karaoke.
Switch to Sprint to get unlimited access to the NASCAR Sprint Cup mobile app on the only network with truly unlimited data.
Today my journey brings me to Charlotte, North Carolina, where I spent the day with Geico driver Casey Mears. I told him the secret to saving money on car insurance. He told me the secret to his car setup. First, he adjusts his seat and a quarter cup of pineapple juice. Or was that the secret to his barbecue sauce?
Hey, secret sauce.
Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. May 5th on Fox. Tune in right at 8 as hard-hitting heavyweights Pat Berry and Lamar Johnson go head-to-head in the first of 4 huge fights. Then Alvarez battles Belcher, Koscheck takes on Hendricks, and Ultimate Fighter champion Nate Diaz faces Jim Miller for a shot at title contention. 4 huge fights, 1 great night. May 5th live, free, and only on Fox.
Research shows that over 99% of Americans are not at their ideal heart health.
Hey, Mikey, did you know exercise will lower your risk of heart disease?
Yes, DW, we look better than ever.
Let's win this thing, boys. I've got to get my regular checkup.
Mike, this is actually a pretty big race. I'm starting to get a little nervous.
Nervous? You need to relax, Mary. Max, stress is bad for you.
Visit heart.org/foxsports for simple steps to a better, healthier life.
NASCAR returns to Sonoma this June for the Toyota Save Mart 350, and Infineon Raceway and Save Mart supermarkets have teamed up to bring you the best deal in town. 2 tickets for only $99. It's road course racing with a short track attitude. Visit InfineonRaceway.com and get your Save Mart supermarkets 2-pack today. Part of the Big O Tires racing season. Think outside the O.
You're with us for the Sprint post-race show live from Texas Motor Speedway. The Samsung Mobile 500 winner is Greg Biffle. He dominated in the first portion of the race, battling Martin Truex Jr., the pole sitter, then came back to overtake Jimmy Johnson, who led the most laps, 156, with 30 to go. Greg Biffle taking the lead, and he's there in victory lane with our Matt Yoker.
A perfectly executed slide job, your first win as a dad, first win in almost 2 years. What does this mean for you and this team?
It means a lot. I'll tell you what, the fan yelled we would never win again when we were leaving the track one day, and I was bound and determined to put the Spill Tree 3 and 4 diffuser back in victory lane. I got to thank Matt Fuchsia, Phil Tree, 3M, Dowling, Sprint, just the fans for sticking behind the 16, and Rutledge Wood picked us today, but so excited for my first win as a dad. I just wish my family was here.
7th mile-and-a-half track win for the big. Dick?
And I'm with Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy, you came so close tonight. Second, that's your 4th second-place finish on the last 5 spring races here. Can you put into words the disappointment of losing this one?
Yeah, definitely disappointed, but we had a great race car, and there's a lot to be proud of here today. Our pit stops were amazing. Very, very fast race car, and a little bit more respect through some lap traffic. I think it could have been a little different. Just got tangled up in some lap traffic, and 16 made a great move, and he got by me, and then I was pacing him from there, and it didn't have anything left to go get him. I tried, and ran out of grip going into turn 3 and drilled the fence, but brought it home in second. Very proud of the effort. Certainly wish we were over there in victory lane, but everybody knows we're here. We're awfully close to a winner of the Scobalt Chevrolet.
Thanks, Jimmy. Steve?
Pick with Jeff Gordon. Jeff, it's not a win, but as much bad luck as you guys have had, it might seem like what I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like we've had bad luck. A couple of things were self-induced. A couple of things are out of our control, but we've been running so good. It's just nice to have, everything kind of come together tonight. Starting 34th, we have our work cut out for us, but this team did an amazing job. So proud of everybody on this DuPont Chevrolet. What a race car we had. I mean, to drive up through there with only 2 cautions in the top 5, almost could get the mark there at the end, but we had a great night, great car, and we've had this many times this year. We just haven't been able to get it all the way to the finish. So tonight we finally did. This is something great that we can build on. I'm so proud of this team. Can't wait to go to Kansas.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Let's go to Chris Kubota.
Well, it wasn't a win for the pole sitter, but it was a great run for Michael Waltrip Racing and Martin Truex. If it wasn't been for that one pit stop, would you be in victory lane?
I don't know. I mean, we were off a little bit the second half of the race. Our car got really loose, and every time we tried to tighten it up, we just lose front grip and not help the rear, so we'd end up being tight and loose. So we really just had to leave it loose and hang on to it. It was a battle tonight. It was a lot of fun out there running up front with the Napa Toyota. Just, like you said, that one little miscue on the pit stop where I wasn't expecting the 14 to be there, and I just slid a foot too far. That cost us a few spots. We were definitely a solid top 3 or 4. I don't know if we had anything for the 16. He was pretty stout. At times we were the best car, at times we were second or third best, but on average, we should have been in the top 5. And then at the end there, we had to save a little fuel, so I feel like I was running down Matt a little bit. We were going to have a heck of a race for 5th, and I had to start letting off early for gas, but can't say enough about everybody on this Napa team, everybody at MWR. Just been a lot of fun. Well, hopefully we can, like I said earlier this week, keep this thing going, and looking forward to going to Kansas next week.
Good things are happening for this guy, that's for sure.
Thanks, Krista. And for Greg Biffle, his first win in the last 50 races. Chris Myers, Michael Waltrip here from the Hollywood Hotel as we check the unofficial results. And Carl Edwards working his way up into the top 10-8. Dale Earnhardt Jr. 10.
Yeah, good rally for Carl. But you know, Chris, if you want somebody in your car to run 200 laps on a 1.5 mile track to the finish, Greg Biffle's your guy. He'll challenge a car every lap. He rode that baby all the way home. And another sad story, Marcus Ambrose, man, he was so strong all day long. Last lap runs out of gas, gets 20th.
Ryan Newman, who won the crazy finish in Martinsville before the Easter break, part of Stewart-Haas Racing. Tony Stewart takes a major tumble in the points, which we'll check in a moment. He has 2 wins this year, yet he finishes 24th tonight.
David Ruderman, big story at the end of the race in Martinsville about the point system, and now he's worked himself back into that top 35, so his team perseveres through tonight, gets the top 25.
Brad Keselowski, remember, was into the chase last year as a wild card driver. Rough night for him that certainly will push him back further in the points. But the likable, hard-driving Greg Biffle, his wife Nicole, you saw him get emotional, his daughter Emma, born last July, watching and rooting for the man, Greg Biffle, with the victory here in Texas. More in a moment.
The Yankees renew their rivalry with the Red Sox. It all kicks off with the Fox Saturday Baseball pregame show next week.
Weather and traffic on the 7th on Fox 17's Tennessee Morning. Skywatch weather with meteorologist Craig Edwards and steer clear traffic weekdays 5 to 9 only on Fox 17's Tennessee Morning.
Presented by HRC Medical. Superior Driver Source is looking for reliable and safe drivers. But why should you work for us?
Competitive pay, health benefits,
flexible schedule, locally owned and operated. Give Superior Driver Source a call today to see how you can become part of our family.
If you're looking for thicker green grass, you should know that all grass seed is not created equal. We're Pennington, the grass seed people, and we're proud to tell you the truth about what's in a bag of our smart seed. It's 20 pounds of the best seed we've ever made. That's it. Their 20-pound bag, 10 pounds of seed and 10 pounds of filler. That's a fact. You want green grass on your side of the fence? The seed matters. Smart seed from Pennington. Honest green.
Hey folks, Mike Snyder here, and if you're like me, when you put a new roof on your house, you want it to last. And if you want one that's less expensive than shingles and comes with a 40-year guarantee, you've got to call Metal Max.
Whether you're building a barn, a commercial building, or roofing a home, we offer factory direct prices right here in Middle Tennessee.
So don't buy from the middleman, buy direct from the Metal Man. Metal Max.
Need safe and reliable drivers? Superior Driver Source has the solution. We provide your company the drivers you need when you need them.
Superior Driver Source is always available and is always professional.
Call Superior Driver Source today to experience the difference.
You're watching NASCAR on Fox.
It's more than just oil, it's liquid engineering.
Promotional considerations provided by and Greg Biffle fired up, not only the points leader, but gets his first win of the season in the bigger picture. A truck championship, a nationwide championship, hopes one day to get a Sprint Cup championship. After 7 races, he is your points leader with the victory. Look at Matt Kenseth, his teammate, up 2, and Michael tumbling back. Tony Stewart losing 4 spots.
Wow, look how tight it is after Biffle. He's got a big lead, but they're tightly bunched there for second.
And Greg Biffle, as we head to Kansas, he has won there before. Carl Edwards rallied to get into that 11 spot. Remember, with the wild card, that's where that helps Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, you've got to be inside that top 20, Chris. You win a race and in the top 20, it might get you into that chase for the championship, but you need to be on those 2 paces.
And this race here in Texas set a couple of records, the fewest cautions with just 2, 5 the previous record, and Darrell, as he pointed out throughout the race, a pace average speed of 160. That shattered the mark of just under 153 previously set. So let's talk to the guys up in the booth as we wind this down. And a big night for Greg Biffle, but how about the guys who have yet to win in 7 races this year? No Jimmy Johnson, no Jeff Gordon, no Carl Edwards.
And a lot more. None of the Richard Childress cars have won, the Michael Waltrip racing cars. A lot of contenders still searching for that first win. I can't believe we went 234 laps without a caution tonight.
I think the other thing, too, is we've had 7 races, we've had 6 winners. And so nobody's dominating right now. That means there's opportunity for the guys that haven't won. There's opportunity right ahead for them. So with Kansas coming up and Richmond coming up, I think we'll see some more guys that haven't won for a while find victory circle. But that pace blew me away. 500 miles in 3 hours. That's pretty amazing.
I know Hendrick Motorsports did not get their 200th win, but I still think this was a big night for them, especially for Jeff Gordon and for Casey Kane, because that's 2 drivers, they needed solid finishes like they got tonight.
And Chris, Greg Biffle's for real. Never mind all the top 5 and top 10s. He's the point leader, and now he's got to win.
And as we said, success in Kansas. Thanks, guys. Good job tonight. And certainly, when you talk about the guys who've had Jimmy Johnson leading the most laps, they're closer, Jimmy, Jeff, to victory lane.
Did you see Jimmy Johnson go into turn 3 and turn that thing sideways, scrubbed it against the wall, saved it, held on to the second spot? Guys like Jimmy Johnson and Greg Biffle, they're running on adrenaline during those interviews. When they get settled down here in a minute, they're going to be worn out. 234 laps running close to 200 miles an hour down the straightaways and sideways in the turns. That's a workout.
For a moment, it looked like Jimmy would cruise home, but then Biffle takes the lead and hangs on to win it. Coming up next on Fox, many of you late local news. Those of you on the West Coast, hang in for other programming. Next Saturday, Major League Baseball on Fox, and tune in whenever you can. Among those games, Yankees and Red Sox. Note the start time, 3:30 Eastern, that's 12:30 Pacific. We talked about Kansas, another 1.5-mile track like we saw tonight. Brad Keselowski won the spring race there. Back in the fall, Jimmy Johnson. That was the last win for him in Hendrick Motorsports. We'll watch closely 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central, NASCAR on Fox. And don't forget Victory Lane for continuing race coverage for Texas. Tune in on Speed, so they'll continue to keep you updated on everything NASCAR. Greg Biffle, the points leader and the winner. Disappointed last year in his performance, missing the chase, and right now in good position after 7 races. Michael Waltrip and our entire production crew, thanks for being a part of NASCAR on Fox. We hope you join us next Sunday. Take care.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
It's true, no.